Hello everybody, this is the Retro Bear and welcome to a brand new episode of Desert Island Games here on YouTube. For this episode, which will be in two parts, I had a wonderful sit-down conversation during the middle part of July with my good friend RetroRedSteve, and as always with Desert Island Games we talk through Steve's gaming history and some of the great games that he'd like to take to a desert island with him. Now, as I said, it's going to be a two-part episode. During the course of this episode we did have a few technical problems, which if anybody is a regular listener to our TMB podcast will know is pretty much a common thing. So I do apologise if there are a few little gaps in the audio. It did appear that at some point that Steve wasn't able to respond to some of the questions, and that's why there are some long pauses in there, but hopefully it doesn't interrupt your enjoyment too much of this particular episode, and indeed the second part, which will follow in a few days' time. Just wanted to say thanks very much again to Steve for taking part. It was an absolute thrill to have you on, Steve, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And also once again to say that if you fancy being a guest on Desert Island Games, drop me a line. There will be an email in the description below, and we can probably hopefully try and arrange a recording some point in the future to discuss your gaming history and some games that you'd like to take to a desert island. Anyway, without further ado, with apologies to Big Mike, here we go with the third episode, part 1 of Desert Island Games with RetroRedSteve. Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting episode of Desert Island Games here on the Retro Bear YouTube channel. This is Retro Bear speaking to you live from the comfort of my rescue vehicle as we welcome another guest to the desert island, where they will be marooned with some games of their choice, a game that they need to put some more time into and a game that they absolutely hate. They're left on a desert island with a machine that can play any game from history, yes, including mobile games and online games as well. All we ask is they don't try and send a rescue message, because that kind of defeats the object of doing this particular broadcast. And as always, I'm joined by a YouTube channel that I've been following for quite some time, and a gentleman who has always left comments on my videos for quite some time now, and I'm very, very grateful for his continual support all through the years. He's one of the nicest guys also as well to speak to about it, and he's coming to us today from the depths of Wales. I don't know any depths of Wales at all, I don't know, but it's a very warm welcome to RetroRedSteve.
Hello, Russ. How is it, buddy?
I'm very well, mate. How are you doing?
Not bad. I thought he was talking about someone else at the start, Ed.
Oh, well, yeah, but we couldn't get them, so I had to use the same introduction for you, my friend. That's what it is. And I should say just before we launch into this, we've had quite a few technical problems, which is not unusual. Trying to get this sorted out, three quarters an hour, and you know, the tale of two men, two microphones, and a pair of headphones.
Cheap headphones.
Cheap headphones. Yeah, well, you took a page out of my book, didn't you? That's what it was.
Exactly, but exactly. Cheapo was the best.
That's it. Yeah, I live by that. So that's a warm and certainly very friendly warning to everybody out there. Don't go for the expensive stuff, because the cheap stuff tends to be a lot better.
Exactly.
Steve, thank you very much indeed for agreeing to come on and do this. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on here, my friend.
No problem at all, but like I said, it's nice to actually talk to you, live.
Yes, that's right, because again, pretty much like everybody who I've sort of spoken to in this sort of format, I've never actually spoken to before ever, have we? We've communicated a few emails in the last week or so trying to set this up, but no, we've never actually sort of spoken in person, so I hope I don't disappoint. All right.
Same, yeah.
So first of all, Steve, I mean, I've only known you sort of the sort of couple of years or so I've been on YouTube, but obviously I'm aware that you've been here an awful lot longer. So before we get into the bulk of the broadcast, if you just want to sort of take a couple of moments to talk a bit about, you know, your YouTube channel and sort of you know, where you got to in terms of here for your gaming.
Started my YouTube channel, it must have been 2009, 2010. Might even been a bit earlier than that. I had a channel, like I said, for ages, but I wasn't recording any videos.
Mm-hmm.
It was just to watch, some like old Sega stuff, some old cartoons and that. And used to watch the RP Console Gamer. Used to watch him quite a bit. Like I said, he had great Sega channel.
Mm.
And then as you start, what's like you start searching other stuff like collections now, the British tubers.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I come across a few. I come across Tootie and all, and I come across one, Ian Judy, Herbie Ass 007.
Right.
You know him, like say, nice guy Ian, fair play. And he was the one really that gave me the kick up the backside to start making videos. And that's easy like how I got into it. Ian saying get some videos up, and I started doing it. As first started off, without showing my face. I think I got about 4 videos, and then I was brave enough then to chuck my ugly mug on the camera.
Did your viewers go down, or did they go up?
I think they went up. I was quite surprised.
I started from the point of view where I just sort of put my face on there straight away, and it took me an awful long time to get anybody to watch them.
Yeah,
that was a problem. I think it was about 8 months before I started getting a reasonable, regular sort of viewing. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to sort of get too much into sort of the YouTube stuff, but I mean, what sort of stuff do you specialise in on your channel for anybody who wants to pop across and have a look?
I wouldn't say I really specialise in anything. I just like doing all bits and bobs, more like nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on nostalgia, and like I said, stuff from the 80s, 90s. I do a thing on Saturdays called Shoot 'em Up Saturday. Used to be called Shoot 'em Up Saturday, but as a kid, I never said the word shmup.
I've never heard it until the last few years or so. Since I started doing it, I've never called it shmup.
Yeah, it's like I don't know whether it's perhaps like a YouTube thing that I heard, and I thought I'll just use that. And then as time was going on, I was thinking I'm using a word I didn't use as a kid.
Mm.
Just used to call them shooters, me and my mates, like.
Well, that's what I would call them as well. I think I came from a posh part of where I am because we used to call them shoot them ups. Just like a different sort of variation on it, but yeah, and you are big on the old nostalgia, aren't you?
No consoles, anything 80s, well, even 70s. Whenever I have a bath now, I'm sat there and I'm watching on the buses. I absolutely love on the buses and Steptoe Son.
Oh right, oh I like that sort of thing, but my other half doesn't. So
Mrs. Anna, she's a few years younger than me, so if I'm watching something, she comes in, she's like, "You're not watching that nonsense again."
Finally, somebody who can relate to the conversations I have in my house.
Exactly, but we'll have to look this up more often when we're in the bath, just so we can have a chat.
Oh, well, there's a new way of doing it, I suppose. Some slightly different.
Probably got technical difficulties, I expect.
Yeah. Water in the microphone or something. I don't know. Oh dear. What I will do, Steve, is I will put say to everybody, I will put a link in the description at the bottom of your channel. So if anybody wants to pop along and have a look after this conversation and sort of delve into that, then the link will be there for you. All right, and that's the least we can do for you coming on here. All right.
Buddy, if they bored and they need a couple of minutes to kill, they can pop over.
Yeah, if they watched all my videos and they haven't fallen asleep yet, then obviously I'll send them over to your channel. So that's.
They'll have to do well to understand me.
Well, I got to compare it to some of the Welsh accents. It's not that bad at all, and I don't know. I quite like the Welsh accent.
I'd say because me and Matt Man, Metropolis. That's not Matt. But we used to have conversations when people used to say we sound really Welshy. And in our heads, we just sound normal. Don't sound like Welsh at all.
That's it. Because I mean, where I live, obviously, is not far from Birmingham. Although we sort of live in a different area called the Black Country, and my other half can always tell if I've been out with my friends or I've been to work or something and been speaking, who've got quite a thicker regional accent than I have. I sort of pick it up. So I can come home after that and I can start talking about it, and I've sort of slipped back into this whole sort of this very sort of localised, regionalised accent, and I try not to, but it's very difficult not to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, as you said, it's in your head you're having a normal conversation, but when you actually sort of listen to what you're saying, and I've heard it on the podcast I do as well. Occasionally, I can just I can hear myself slipping into it, and if I'm having a rant, I really get into it. So yeah. I don't know, all those elocution lessons I had when I was young weren't paying off now, that's a problem.
Well, I gotta be honest, but you sound like the poshest YouTuber I've ever spoken to.
I've been called a few things, but yeah, politest man, poshest man, and obviously the other ones I can't mention on this particular broadcast. But yeah, I don't know where that's come from. I don't know. I think what it was, I think when I started my channel, I just didn't want to sort of because you sort of look around, a lot of people using a lot of swear words and things like that, and I didn't want to be like that. I just want to be sort of normal, down to earth, and I think apart from a few sort of very mild swear words which had got into it, generally speaking, I sort of try and do it. But honestly, off camera, off microphone, I'm a completely different person. So.
For me, like, talk about swearing is because I coach my daughter's football team as well.
Oh right,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, the under 12s they are, and a few of them now have found out about my YouTube channel.
Oh no.
So I've gone from swearing quite a lot to trying not to swear and using stuff like bath plugs.
Yeah.
And I use that quite a lot. But then I'm like, I'll be use bath plugs, say somewhere where I don't need to use it. And then when I'm round by the football field, then I swear. Like, not loud, I think, oh my god, no, I'm using the wrong words in the wrong places.
Yeah, it's easily done. I mean, if I'm at work or something like that, I will just not hold back on certain things, and as soon as that camera or the microphone turns on, I just sort of stop it, and I don't know, it's really weird. Anyway, idiosyncrasies aside, down to the matter at hand, we've stuck you on a desert island to have some fun with, and we're going to go through some of those games that you've picked. Steve's picked 6 games that he'd absolutely love to be stuck on a desert island with. One game which he's played previously, has never quite got on with or never had the time to put into it, and because it's not all coconuts and palm trees on these desert islands and fires on the beach and partying till all hours, there is a game included in this which he absolutely detests, because just to make his life a bit more of a misery while he's there waiting for the rescue vehicle to come and pick him up. But on the way,
my luck, that'd be the only one I would play as well. No, my luck.
I mean, you've obviously given me the list in advance, and I must say, I was talking about this in a previous episode, and there are some games on here which haven't come up. I'm always interested to see games that we haven't discussed, because I've done this with the TMB boys and myself. I've done this with Griffo. I've done this with Retro48K, and every now and again a game comes up which nobody else mentioned. Some of those same ones come up, but this one here, I can certainly say, probably apart from maybe 2 on that list, maybe 3, there's some games here we're talking about for the first time, which is great. So we'll get to those very, very shortly. But what we need to do, Steve, really, is to start with your gaming journey, and we'll intersperse this with those games. So how did you get into gaming to start with?
That is, when I was growing up, we used to live with my nan. My mother and father split up, so we lived with my nan, and my uncle was only a couple of years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So was he about 10 years older than me, I think. So when I was growing up, I was like hanging around with him a lot.
Yeah.
And he used to be into gaming. Now, I'm sure he had a Vectrex. I'm positive.
Vectrex?
In my mind, I'm sure. I know it. I got an inkling I played it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Because that was a machine with the overlay, wasn't it? I think.
Exactly.
Plastic, yeah. I've heard about them, but I've never played on one before.
Very, very vague memory there somewhere. But he also had an Atari 2600.
Oh right, yes. I mean, that's where I started, so I know about that one all too well.
I was playing on it all the time, and when he eventually moved out, like I said, he just left it for me. I had a few games like Kaboom, the Circus one.
Circus Atari?
It might have been, yeah.
Was that the one when you got on the seesaws and knocked the balloons out?
Yeah, I'm positive it was that.
Yeah.
Could you play with the paddles?
That's the one, yeah. My late mum's favourite game, that was.
Yeah, I used to love Kaboom with the paddles. And I still remember my first ever video game I bought myself. It was on my birthday money, and I went to Woolworths and bought Galaxian.
Oh, right.
And like I said, I still remember that now as if it was yesterday.
It's like a memory like that stays with you all the way through, doesn't it? It never sort of changes. I saw something the other day which immediately took me back to playing on the 2600, playing Frostbite the 2600. Yeah, I used to spend so much time playing that game. But yeah, it's little things like that that sort of set you off and take you back to where you were, where it all started from.
I first got into gaming, and then I think it was Christmas 87 or 88. I think it was 88. My mother used to come down and she'd say to me and my sisters, "Oh, you are, have a look, circle some stuff in the catalogue that you want for Christmas, and then we'll see what the old fat man will bring for you, like." And as it happened, like I said, I was very, very lucky. You know, like arcade machines growing up. Where we lived, there was two fish shops, two fish shops, two cafes, and a video shop, and they all had arcade games in it.
Wow. On you know, right on the doorstep like that.
Yeah, honest God, it was absolutely brilliant. It was. What's so good for my mother, because I kept coming back every half hour for more money.
I mean, I said there's a chip shop up the road from us which I still go to. I think it's still in the same family, about sort of second or third generation along there, and that was when I first saw an arcade machine in there, and I'm convinced it was Pengo. I can't be 100% sure, but yeah, it was a. Yeah, it was definitely. I'm sure it was definitely that one. There was another game I saw at a different place, which was completely different. But definitely remember Pengo at the chip shop.
That's what I remember. Funny enough, in the fish shop as well. With Jungle Hunt.
Oh yes, where yes, I know. Is that sort of split across different stages? So you're having to sort of swing
on the vines.
That's the one.
The vines.
Yeah.
And you go into with the crocodiles.
Yeah, I think I played that on the 2600.
Yeah, it's on the 2600 as well. That was the first ever game I remember playing.
Yeah.
You went up and your girl just give me 20 pence just to keep me quiet until you have a go of that.
I think I found just sort of subject sort of to an arcade. When I went to Blackpool when I was probably about 11 years old, and I was kept well away from that sort of thing, you know, waste of money. And I think we got into this cafe for something to eat, and there was I think it was The Empire Strikes Back. It could have been Star Wars, I don't know, but it was definitely the sit down one. And I remember sort of like yeah, and I remember begging my dad to give me 20p to sit there and play it, and I think it lasted maybe about, I don't know, 20 seconds or something like that.
If you're lucky.
If you were lucky, because I was used to playing sort of 2600 games, which was completely different sort of kettle of fish, and I was just so drawn to this particular cabinet, and yeah, it was a very, very quick turnaround.
We always go to Porthcawl. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a big seaside resort in Wales.
Yes, I have. Yes, yeah.
Arcades here. There used to be 3 or 4 of them. We used to go in, and the games in here are absolutely brilliant. Like I said, Star Wars was in there. They had Enduro Racer with the handlebars.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that for the first time, because I'd never seen a sort of the sort of the hydraulic ones, or the biggest, you know, beyond the sort of regular cabinet. So that's seeing something like that with the handlebars, and of course Hang On as well. I remember seeing that as well with the bike on it. Yeah.
Hang On, they actually had a full bike, the red bike.
And
I used to sit on there, and my feet couldn't touch the floor. So I had to have my mother or someone behind me steering me, pushing me which way to go.
I think I was always scared to sit on that in case I fell off it.
I'm only little, so I had quite a fall if I did fall off it.
Yeah, I thought that just the embarrassment of being bad at the game, but actually falling off the bike while you were sat on it. That must have happened to somebody, surely. It must have happened to somebody. Somebody must have fallen off the bike. If you've fallen off the bike, let me know. Put a comment in the below.
There's no mobile phones back then to capture it.
No, that's right. And then you sort of after your arcade experience and growing up through with the 2600, you then moved on to another console after that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Circling stuff in the catalogue.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, I used to play Wonder Boy in one of the cafes. And I just go through the catalogue one day. Like I said, I never even heard of a Master System. I know it's like you're flicking through it. It was a kid. Always great stuff in it. And I seen this game. It said Wonder Boy. I said, no, that can't be it. And you look at the screenshot, and it was just like a boy jumping over a snail.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, that's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. So I ordered it. Say ordered it. I just put circles in it. As it happened, Christmas morning, I had my Master System, which came with Hang On the card,
Yeah. Yeah.
Action Fighter, and Wonder Boy.
Wow.
And I was in heaven. Honestly, absolute brilliant. Especially when I found out it was the actual game. I was down the fish shop, down the cafe. Sorry.
Because I mean, you say you ordered it, you pretty much did order it, didn't you? Because that was what
Yeah.
you got for Christmas. But I mean, yeah, to get something like that must have been wonderful. Were your dreams come true, sort of thing?
To me, it's one of the best arcade ports ever. Because apart from a few slight differences, to me, it's neat enough perfect. Apart from like difficulty and slight graphical stuff, absolute brilliant Wonder Boy on the Master System is.
Yeah. What was your impression of the Master System when you first had it?
First open, I thought, you're looking at it, and I thought, well, this is quite big. I had the Mark 1, and I had this card. I was thinking, what the hell do I do with this? And it took me a while now to realise that I had to slide in a little card slot. I remember like opening it all up because I wasn't too bad at the time. I would like doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it took me forever now to find the channel. When you tuned in, you had a little thing you had to turn in manually with your fingers.
Oh right, yeah. Because they're all sort of they're sort of automatic tuning now, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. When we was kids, you had the little rolly things you had to keep rolling it with your fingers. Back in the day.
Yeah, people nowadays don't realise how difficult it used to be doing something like that.
Actually, I keep saying to my kids, I said, you got so lucky you wouldn't believe.
Well, this is it. I mean, it's tuning in the television or setting a video. I did say this in a previous episode. You know, setting a video was sort of, you needed a degree in that because a lot of people simply couldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly,
old technology. Yeah. I mean, my parents were completely useless with things like that. I had to set the video for everything.
I could never set the timer on the video recorder back in the day.
Well, the best invention there was Video Plus. That was brilliant because you used to type a number in and that was it. It would pick up your program straight away. It was brilliant.
On your posh side again, Aris, but we didn't have that in Wales.
It was great because you think, how the heck has it managed to work out? This is what I want to record. This is brilliant. It's so much easier to do that, but up until that point, you've got to sit there and start the program slightly early and finish it slightly later in case it overran. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen, and even nowadays with the PVRs, I'm getting slightly off topic here, but it's still never guaranteed. I've recorded stuff off a planner, and turns out something else has been broadcast in its place, or that particular program I recorded started late.
Yeah.
But it's not intelligent enough to realise it started late. So we started recording at the time it's meant to start. So, yeah, I still miss the end of it. I think the worst one I ever did was I recorded, it's going back about 5-6 years, and again, probably speaking about relevant to nobody here, but the NCAA college football final.
All right.
And I recorded it, and I hadn't watched. I thought I'll sit down and watch it about 4 months later. I didn't get around to watching it, and I thought I'll watch this eventually.
Yeah.
And I sort of set the recorder up. I think it finished about 45 minutes after the actual program was meant to finish, just in case something happened. And I could just see this game going on and on and on, and I could just see the time dropping down and down and down. I thought, I'm going to miss the end of this game, isn't I? And it came down to a last-second field goal. And no, I didn't. I got to the point where they were walking out to take the field goal, and that was it.
Oh, that's a cliffhanger enough.
And I thought, brilliant, I waited 4 months to watch this now, and I'm going to go on the internet and find the result.
Oh.
I know. But there you go.
So, I tell you what I used to love with VHSs. You tape something, right? And say argument's sake, like one of your favourite films. You go to watch it again, and then someone will come in and record it over it.
Oh yeah, always doing it in our house.
I'm glad the bloke down the video shop, like I said, always down there playing the games and getting figures and that from me. He told me then you could break that little bit of plastic off.
Yes, that's right.
To stop people taping over it.
Yeah, so I didn't know that existed, but then you looked at all the ones he used to buy in the shop, and of course they were all like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But we used to go around practically commandeering videotapes in our house, and so that's my videotape and my stuff on it. So you write your name on it and what you recorded on it, and then hide it away. And then you realise that basically you got like 15, 20 video cassettes all with names on, and like 2 that you could use.
Yeah.
Have we got any tape left? I don't know. We've got these 2 left. Where are the other ones? You know, well, Dad's got 2 of those.
Talking about VHSs now, that's all that's popping in my mind is the Scotch adverts. Remember them? Scotch videotapes.
Yeah, re-record, not fade away.
I said, I just love it.
Well, it's great. He got a catchy sort of character. He got a sort of catchy tune to go with it as well, and
and his little bird.
That's right, in the cage. And we used to have loads of those tapes. I think I've still got some of the very first video cassette we had with our video recorder. I'm hoping we still got it somewhere. It's got 5 episodes of 40 Towers on it.
And I will.
Yeah, it was a Ferguson branded tape. He had the first video VCR we had was a Ferguson top loader.
Takes me back.
Yeah, because I remember the one time I actually put the remote control in the top loader and pushed it in.
Oh, never.
Yeah, because I was a moron when I was a kid. I still am, to be honest with you. But
he was a posh moron, or bad.
Yes. But yeah, I remember doing that with it. My dad was none too impressed. We managed to get it out without any problems, but yeah. Of course, I put the blame on my sister for doing it. So there's that confession 35 years later.
Just hope she listens to this now.
She won't. She's got no interest in this whatsoever.
If I find out who she is, I'll let her know.
I'll do my best to keep it a secret, mate. Yeah. So how long did you have your Master System for then?
I had my Master System a good couple of years. Because I can remember the Mega Drive must have been out for a while, because I used to have arguments with some of the boys who had Mega Drives, and it was never like Nintendo versus Sega for me. It was like Master System versus Mega Drive. So I always used to say that the Master System was better. Obviously, until one Christmas when I had a Mega Drive, and then it changed it. Obviously, the Mega Drive was the better console then.
Yeah.
Because what games did I have on it? I had Mega Games. I think it was Mega Game 6. So I definitely had Mega Games 2, but I think I had Mega Game 6 as well.
Mega Game 6.
It must have been out for a while.
I think I've got that.
Mega Game 6.
Let me just have a look. Yeah, red cartridge, that would have had, because I just pulled it off the shelf. Streets of Rage, Sonic 1, Revenge of Shinobi.
That's it, yeah.
Super Monaco.
On it?
No. Super Monaco Grand Prix Columns and what was World Cup Italia 90, but they've rebranded it as Sega Soccer to make it sound a bit more exciting. I think Golden Axe was on one of the other ones I picked up earlier on this year, but I can't see it at the moment. It's quite dark in here because I ain't got a light on.
Mega Games 2 that is, because it's on with Streets of Rage and Revenge of Shinobi.
Yeah, that's right.
I picked that for one of my favourite games for Big Al's top 6 Mega Drive games.
Oh, yeah, because
he said you can't pick compilations. I said too late, already done it now.
Yeah, because I mean, Al's got that massive collection. It's a full collection, isn't it? I think so.
Oh, that's absolutely outstanding what he's done here.
Yeah,
brilliant. See him play him on Mondays as well.
I must admit, I haven't got round to watching that. I'm so far behind with the videos because of this lockdown period and getting back to it. But he's really put a lot of effort into that. And
definitely. Well, if you're going to watch one, watch Turtles Tournament Fighters.
I've heard
brilliant.
I've heard about that. I've watched his Gran Turismo videos as well. And I never want to get in a car with him.
I wouldn't want him being one-on-one fighter with him either.
If you're not sure what we're talking about our mutual friend Big Game Al, otherwise known as Planet Retro, and he's got a YouTube channel as well. Does some tremendous content. He pulls out videos quite regularly, lots of gameplay, Mega Drive Mondays, as Steve just mentioned there. He does lots of pickups as well, and an absolute top bloke he really is, and it's one of the rising stars in YouTube, I think.
Sponsored by Jaffas.
Yes, yeah, lots of Jaffa cakes, doesn't he? And his beer as well, because he does live beer reviews sometimes. I didn't watch it, but I did hear he was pretty hammered by the end of it, I think.
I'm not surprised the amount of cans he did drink on it. Fair play to him.
Let's move away from the gaming sort of history at the moment, because I want to start talking about a couple of your games on your list, Steve.
Yeah.
And obviously we talk about the Master System and sort of that was Sega brand console. We just briefly touched about the Mega Drive, which we'll come back to shortly. And I think that leads us quite nicely into the first game on your list, really.
I guess anyone who knows me or have ever watched 5 minutes of any of my videos will know the first game I'm going to take is going to be Wonder Boy in Monsterland. Obviously, the Master System version. Gotta be.
Yeah. And why is it so highly regarded by yourself?
Man, it's my favourite game of all time. There's just something about it. I don't know whether it was. I think it was the age I was and the time in my life. I know it sounds dull, but when I was playing it, like young, I mean, it's like, how old was I when I first started playing that? It's been 9, 10 at the most.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Everything well back then was all good, all going well. I think it was just that time in my life that when I play, I always think back to then.
Yeah.
And like I said, I play through it at least once a month. Absolutely love it.
So you still get it out on a regular basis like that?
Yeah, still give it out and give it a bash.
Wow. We are talking about the game here, aren't we?
I was thinking that as
Yeah.
well.
Before we slide too far into the other end of the spectrum on that one.
Yeah, we PG tonight, didn't we?
Yes, that's it. I mean, obviously you mentioned it takes you back to a happy time in your life, but I mean, you know, when you play it now, what is still the appeal of that game? Because obviously all those years ago it would have been. I'm being kind to you, all those years ago, but you know, but back then,
you're right there. It is all them years ago.
but all the you know the feeds out there when you were growing up and what a great game was. Why now does that still sort of resonate with you so much as it did then?
Play some modern games, and something about them. Some of them I just can't get into them.
Mm.
But this, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's because it's familiar. But like I said, just everything about it is perfect. The gameplay, the pacing of it, everything. Like I said, is I just pick it up and I know I got 40 minutes. If I go for like trying to get an high score, it can be up like hour and a half, 2 hours.
Mm.
When I play it, I just don't get bored of it. I can just play it over and over. Like I said, a lot of people now, I like watching people play it as well. If I come across someone who's also holed up on his stairs at Island and get them to play it, I can watch it. Because even now I might like, because I like the arcade version as well.
Mm.
There's still stuff in here as well that I've been playing it for like 30 years. I do now and again still find stuff.
Mm.
So it's got it, even like 30 years on, I'm still finding stuff in it.
I mean I mean to go back that a game that old and having played it through as thoroughly as it sounds like you have done, and still to sort of find things that are new. Again, I sort of find that occasionally with sort of films.
Yeah.
You watch something and then you watch it, about 15th time, you go, hang on a second, I didn't get that the first time.
Yeah.
Or I didn't see it. So it does happen.
Oh, definitely.
Did you feel the sort of same attraction to the other games in the series as well?
The first Wonder Boy, yes. Like I said, that was a game I'd say that proper got me into gaming. The original Wonder Boy. Like I said, Wonder Boy in Monsterland's my favourite game of all time. I like Dragon's Trap.
Mm.
Like I said, I've just picked up on a PS4, funny enough. Monster World on a Master System, I haven't really played. I've played quite a bit on the Mega Drive. Monster World on air. That's a decent game. The fourth one, is in fifth one, Monster World 5, I think it is. The one with Aisha, is it? It was only released in Japan.
I get confused because obviously you get things like dragons and monsters in the title, and I'm sort of thinking I get confused between sort of Monster World and Dragon's Trap and things like that. So I sort of get lost in that whole thing.
Yeah, it's the one. The girl with the green hair. Brilliant that one is. I've played that one quite a bit.
That was, yeah.
It's fantastic, that one, and one no one talks about, and it's got shooter elements in it. Is Monsters Lair?
Monsters Lair, yeah.
absolute, like I said, love that one as well. Just because it takes you to a different style. Got a bit of a shmup, as we say now.
Shmuff, yeah. A shoot them up, yes. I was going to ask you the question actually, because it's interesting you mentioned that you picked up the one that came out recently on the PlayStation 4. Have you played it yet at all?
Oh, I haven't had a chance to yet. I go through trying to get Uncharted 4 finished.
Right, so you and when you've done that one, then you move on to there.
But like, give myself a little thing now that before I can play Last of Us 2, I got to finish one game from my backlog.
Oh.
Uncharted 4 and brilliant. Got really hooked on that.
I think I set myself the same target about 20 years ago. And I'm just never going to get there now. I must be honest with you. I have looked at this new Wonder Boy game, and although I've such limited experience with the series, I think I've got one of the games in the Game Gear. Sorry. And if I had it to hand, I'll be able to tell you which one it was, but I haven't.
Dragon's Revenge or something, is it?
It might be Wonder Boy in Monsterland. No, it can't be Monsterland. That's one you've got.
Oh, come on, a Game Gear. I know I think it's Dragon's Revenge, which is the original Wonder Boy, just a different name.
It could be Dragon's Trap, you know.
I think that one came out on a Game Gear as well, Dragon's Trap.
Yeah, one of those anyway. I picked it up last year. I briefly played it, but not to remember what it's called. And the other one I think was the first one on the Commodore 64, which wasn't a great conversion anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I could play Wonder Boy. I don't want one of the old home computers.
I think there's a gameplay of that on my channel from years ago as well.
Oh, is that? But, go back, check that out.
Yeah, it's one of the really early ones. I mean, really early ones. And I don't know. I'd like to sort of play, more Wonder Boy games, and I saw this remake that they did, and I thought, wow, this looks really good because you can switch between sort of like the modern day styling and go back to the 8-bit styling.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, this is fantastic, and I nearly bought it when it came out. Nearly bought it, and I didn't.
You still get it cheap. I think it's about. I paid £17 or £18 for mine brand new.
Yeah, cheap as that. Oh, okay.
The one that's going up now is Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom.
Right.
That's another like Wonder Boy remake sort of thing. That's a really good game, that is. Right. Talking to Eddie Rollercore the other day about it, funny enough.
Oh,
I thought it was still like around 30-40 quid.
Is it?
Apparently it's up to, double that now easily.
Good grief.
So I just got it.
Yeah. So stick with your £17-18, but I'm happy with that one. I'm not sure where they get it on. Whether they get the PlayStation 4 or the Switch. I'll have to look in to see which is available. But it is a game I want to pick up just because I'm just going to know I'm going to instantly like it. I don't know why. I see something that instantly I think I'm going to like playing that game. So yeah. Right. So a real sort of Wonder Boy journey there. And so I dare say a complete change in tack for your second game on your list.
Oh, just a little bit.
Only slightly.
We're going with Hadoukens and all that. Now we're going to go with Street Fighter 2 on the Mega Drive.
On the Mega Drive? Interesting. Yeah, now that's a controversial opinion there. Because
I played the arcade cab back in the day. That's how I first, how everyone first found out about Street Fighter 2. It was in the local chippy. And when I seen it come out on the Super Nintendo, the stairs, I was gutted. Absolute gutted. No, because I had a Mega Drive and it came out on the SNES. And I remember then one Christmas, I had my Christmas money off my nan, walking around in Cardiff, going into Virgin. And it was like this big light shining down on a stack of games. I'm sure like there was angels singing and all that. And when I looked closer, it was Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition.
You've got all this worked out in case somebody does a film of your life, haven't you?
I have. The one I want to play was Dead John Candy. I'm fat enough.
So you came across this in Virgin, and it was almost as if your life was now even more complete following your Wonder Boy. You moved on from Wonder Boy by this point, and all of a sudden Street Fighter 2 is there for the Mega Drive.
Brilliant. Well, I've told the story a couple of times as well. Like, so I remember getting it, going back out to see my nan and my sister, because my nan used to give us £200 every Christmas.
Wow.
And she said, oh, you spent any money, your money, love? And I said, oh yeah, I just bought this. I said, oh, what was that? About a £5, was it? I said, oh no, it was £65. You're like, £65 for that? Honestly, Christmas Day, she could tell why I paid £65 for it, because they didn't see me at all.
But I mean, what you got to remember then, I mean, that was 1991, 92, probably, I'm thinking.
A bit later than that, I think, wasn't it?
Was it a bit later than that?
Was it 93, 94?
Oh, I'll have to get my copy down off the shelf. Hang on a second, mate. In the fading light. Fading light. So 1993.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Good guess.
Yeah. No, it is right, because I've just managed to squint at the bottom of the box here. But I mean, even then, £65 for a game. I mean, exactly. You ran about the price of stuff now, just as we did then with that value of that Wonder Boy game. But I mean, I've told this story a couple of times. But a friend of mine, when he came out on the Super Nintendo, he paid £65 for it, and he, in a fit of game rage, punched the cartridge, which cracked it, and he had to solder it back together again. I'm not sure how he did it. Yeah,
I'd absolutely cry if I'd done that.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's a running joke between me and him now, because when I bought it years later at a car boot for £2, I said, I bought this for £2. You pay £65 for it 20 years ago. I think the irony was lost on him. What makes you such a Street Fighter 2 fan then, mate?
Yeah, I think one-on-one fighter. No, I tell a lie. It was what was it, karate? Was it international karate? That was the first one I played back, like in the local calf by one, right next to Wonder Boy, funny enough. But yeah, Street Fighter 2, just looking at all the sounds. Walked into the chippy like, and it was there. And like a big group of my mates all stood round there. I remember we'd all be there chucking 20 pences on the screen. Waiting to go on, like playing Winner Stay On.
Like you used to do with the pool table.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody do that with an arcade machine, I must be honest with you.
Oh, we always used to do it. We used to put like all your 20 pences, along the screen. We'd have a queue then, we'd all be stood round there like, who go on next, and we'd play Winner Stay On. Not very often I won, if I'm honest.
Yes, yeah.
I said, so I used to pick blank and just keep this electric thing. Electric attack.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Just, even now I think of modern day fighters. Like I say, I like the Mortal Kombat's now, but Street Fighter 2 is still, I think, head and shoulders above any one-on-one fighter.
I mean, have you played the Super Nintendo version as well?
I haven't, but funny enough, my good mate of mine, he's on YouTube as well, Cooper. Before all this virus started, I used to run down his house in the mornings, and I'd go into work with him. And he got a Super Nintendo, and he showed me it. He got Street Fighter on it. And he was always saying, right, we're going to have a day now doing this. Like one day in the morning, I'll come down earlier, we'll have like an hour on Street Fighter. And obviously all this virus setting now, we just haven't had a chance to do it yet.
Oh, right. So that's something to look forward to then when you're eventually able to do something like that. But no, I just wondering, because most people, when they talk about Street Fighter 2, they generally talk about the SNES version.
Joe, I've never played on a Super Nintendo back in the day. Never played on it. Honestly, it's because when I was growing up, we all had Mega Drives.
Yeah.
Like I said, the first Nintendo console I played on was the Wii.
Was it really? As late as that?
Yeah, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, I've gone back now and I've played on like the NES and the SNES and that. No, still never played on an N64, I don't think.
Good grief.
I've played some games emulated, but I've never actually played on an N64 console.
That's interesting, because I mean I was much the same with a lot of the consoles. I mean, I didn't own them. I did get to play on a Mega Drive, a Super Nintendo. I think played the PlayStation before I got one as well, N64. Those were the ones that I didn't own, and they were sort of some very first ones I sort of picked up when I was able to get them myself afterwards. So I'd always played on them, but at the same time I always wanted to pick them up as sort of the priority of my collection when I started collecting again.
I don't know, what is this? Joe, I'd look at I'd look at footage of N64. I think
Mm.
I'd like to have the console and just get certain games for it.
Well, that's a good way of doing it, and I think again, a lot of people collect on that basis. That there's certain games on certain systems they want, and I was had this conversation again with somebody the other day about it, and I said, well, most people when they sort of say, well, because obviously with the big Wii collection I've got, most people say, oh yeah, there's probably about 50 or 60 games I'll get on the Wii. I'll buy a Wii and get 50 or 60 games for it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want any more than that. And you can do that with the N64 because it's got a reasonably small library. I think it's about 200 and something or other like that. Sure, there was less than 400 games for that system.
What? Then it's on like 270 odd.
Yeah, it's actually a lot smaller when you think about it.
Yeah. Sure, it's like that.
Yeah, I always thought it was way more than that. I always thought it was closer to sort of like 500, but then
Yeah.
I sort of thought only 200 and something or other. I thought, that's weird. It was everywhere when around that time when it came out. PlayStation and N64 were just everywhere.
Yeah. It's because, like I said, I'd love to play Mario 64.
Oh yeah, you've got to play that.
Play on an actual N64 console.
Yeah, you've got to do it. You have to do it and experience that dreadful joypad for yourself because it's an absolute abomination. It really is.
I'd look at it, right? I'd think, how could people game with that? I
Yeah.
can't for the life of me see how they could game with that.
They can't.
Then again, right? I filmed a video the other day. I'm going to publish it, funny enough, using the actual Master System control pad.
Mm.
And it's mad now how weird that feels. Because when I go back and play Master System games now, I normally play on my modded Xbox. But now, what I can start doing every month, when I pick up, I'm going to pick up one Master System game, every month.
Yeah.
And I do like a pick up and play.
That's a good idea.
Instead of just buying it, chucking it on the shelf. I'm actually playing them as well at the same time.
You're a lucky man if you can do that. I mean, I'm sort of buy stuff and just chuck it on the shelf. So
I've done it once. Done it once so far. Like I said, whether I keep it up is another matter.
good intentions and all that. That's what it is.
Exactly.
So beyond Street Fighter 2, again, same question with Wonder Boy. Did you sort of stay with the endless Street Fighter 2 sequels that came out, such as Super Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Hyper, whatever they were called? I don't know. There were so many of them I couldn't keep up.
Oh, I just stuck with the Championship Edition on the Mega Drive. I just stuck with that. I never had Super Street Fighter 2 that come out on the Mega Drive. I played it a couple of times in the arcade. The fight with it, Tio, DJ, and Kami. Yeah, they're the ones that got added in, weren't they?
Was it like the added bonus of 4 different characters and?
Yeah, it was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
oh yeah, and Fei Long was the other one, wasn't it? Like the Bruce Lee copy.
And then sort of flog it again on the home system for another 65 quid.
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't miss a trick, these Capcom people, I tell you.
No, exactly, because I know a lot of people who bought. Was it called World Warrior on the Super Nintendo, the first one to come out?
World Warrior is the first one, yeah.
Turbo come out on the SNES as well, didn't they?
Yes, I think I remember the at the time, and there was a lot of sort of like complaint about it, but yeah, that's the way it is. They're there to make money off these sort of things.
The Mega Drive version, didn't they?
Yeah,
Turbo one. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always find it again. I've sort of made a point of this, but I find it fascinating that Street Fighter 2 for me has always been I would always say Street Fighter 2 with the Super Nintendo. I always find it absolutely hilarious that when the Mega Drive Mini came out last year, the Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition was on there.
Yeah, I was quite shocked at that actually.
And along with Mega Man. I can't remember which Mega Man game it was. It was a Mega Man game on the Mega Drive Mini. I thought, this is weird. this should not happen. Sort of thing. Yeah. It's like if Nintendo ever sort of bring out a mini GameCube or something, they'll stick a Sonic game on there just for the sake of it, get their own back. We'll move away from your list for the moment. We'll come back to it shortly. We've already touched on the Mega Drive, which I know is sort of the next console that you got. We mentioned it earlier. You moved on from the Master System to the Mega Drive. Memories of the Mega Drive, mate?
Mega Drive memories. Oh, like I said, just what sums up the Mega Drive for me is Golden Axe. because, like I said, in one of the chippies, I keep mentioning these chippies and carpies as I grow up, but honestly, they had every top game, arcade game you can think of, they had in one of these things, like the video shop, chip shops or cafe. And we got the one, me and my mate, we used to play Golden Axe up here. And like I said, we used to spend hours up here just playing this. We absolutely loved it. Like I said, he had it on the Master System, but of course on the Master System it's only a one-player game.
Yeah.
But only players Tarek or Torek, I think his name is on the Master System, because I used to think his name was Axe Battler, but it's Tarek or something, I think it is, which I found out the other day. And like I said, when I got the Mega Drive, playing that, it felt like the arcade was home. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it would do, because it was, it was about as close you could have got at the time to anything that was going to be sort of arcade, close to arcade perfection.
Mega Drive version's better because you've got the extra part on the Mega Drive, haven't you?
Did I play the Mega Drive? I think the one I had when I got my Mega Drive, I played a lot of Golden Axe 2 I had. I remember playing Golden Axe on the Amiga. I had that on a backup on the Amiga. But I had Gold when I bought the Mega Drive off a chap at college. There's a copy of Golden Axe 2 in there. So I used to play that to death. And I cry every time now I think about it, because obviously it disappeared a long time ago, and it goes for about 40 quid or something like that now. I wish I sort of held on to it, but I played that one more than the first one.
I played the second one, but I haven't played it much. And the third one as well, was it Revenge of Death Adder?
I'm not sure. I couldn't not off the top of my head, no, I don't know.
Don't think it actually got released into the third one, but it's on a couple of compilations, isn't it?
I think you're right. I'm trying to remember. I must be honest with you, I don't know much about that one. I don't know much about the third one. I remember playing a god-awful redo over on one of the PlayStation 2 compilations.
Oh, yeah, was that the one that came out on the... Oh, no, one came out on a 360 as well, didn't it? A Golden Axe.
Well, when the Mega Drive collection that came out on the 360 and the PlayStation 3 was basically the old Mega Drive games. And I think all three of them were on there.
Yeah, that was good, that was, but they done it...
Was it the Classics collection?
Yeah, Sega Mega Drive Classics.
Yeah, because I picked out, because I remember I picked this up a few months ago, and I remember saying, right, so it's got, I've just got it now in my hands. Columns, Outrun, Golden Axe, Virtua Racing, Monaco Grand Prix, Fantasy Zone, something I can't read, and Space Harrier.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, somebody said to me, well, these are sort of like the ones that came out in Japan, the Sega Ages version or something, so they redid them over.
Oh,
and I remember playing Golden Axe on that. I thought, this is terrible. I thought, because I was definitely trying to find a copy of Golden Axe from somewhere to respond to a video. And I actually got that Mega Games 2 you were on about earlier, which has got Shinobi and Golden Axe on it.
Yeah.
And of course, I can't record the footage on the Mega Drive onto my computer because there's an issue with the frequencies going through it. But I picked up that Sega Classics collection and I forgot that version of Golden Axe on it instead, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Just not the same.
Good. Is it just because they remade it, didn't they, on the 360 as well and the PS3?
There was a version called Summit Rider.
Yeah, I can't. Is it Beast Rider?
Beast Rider, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's supposed to be terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it didn't get. I remember sort of hearing about it at the time, but it didn't get a particularly good reviews for it. But again, you shouldn't do something like that. Some games are just meant to be left as they were originally. You can't improve on the simplicity of the original game. You can try tightening up as you want to, but it's you're never going to make it.
That game, especially the first one, I think was just perfect as it was.
Yeah. So what else sort of, after Golden Axe and the Mega Drive, what else sort of, got you more into that system?
Part one that I absolutely loved that.
Which one's that one? Sorry, because we cut out there a bit, mate.
Mortal Kombat, the first
Mortal
one.
Kombat, yeah.
That, like I said, I absolutely loved that. Well, I had it on the Master System as well. But then getting it on the Mega Drive, Oh, it was like night and day. It was unbelievable, because on the Master System, I'm sure you couldn't play as Kano.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sure you couldn't play as Kano on the Master System, or there was someone who couldn't play as anyway. But then seeing our character on the Mega Drive version and being able to play as it, and seeing no like do like a quote right now realistic graphics.
Mm.
Because like seeing spines ripped out and stuff like that. Tiny 16-bit glory.
Because the Mega Drive got
so that I absolutely loved that one then.
So the Mega Drive got that version, didn't it? The Super Nintendo got the sanitized version.
I remember getting the Mega Drive version. Was it Abacab? ABB AC, something like that. I'm sure that's what we had to put in. I'm sure it was Abacab to get the blood and all that on the Mega Drive.
Oh right. Oh yeah, I know what you're about now. I don't know.
Down, up, left, A, right, down, Dallard, something like that as well. It's just mad. I remember those certain little things.
I tell you, when the same time I got that Golden Axe 2 on the Mega Drive when I bought it off that guy at college, there was a copy of Mortal Kombat in there. And I did manage to play all the way through that, but of course I was completely useless at anything sort of involving more than one button.
Yeah.
So I just managed to do it without actually using any of the special moves whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure I managed to work my way through it all reasonably well. I think I may have got towards the sort of the guy with the arms.
Oh, Goro.
Goro, yeah.
Goro,
yeah. I don't think I got about that far. I didn't get any further, but I could get that far, but just using sort of like basic punch and kicking without actually doing any sort of any special moves, because I'm useless at fighting games like that.
He was hard. He was Goro. Well, the second one's a Kintaro. I thought he was easier than Goro.
Because he was like a stop motion character, wasn't it? If I remember correctly, yeah. It was strange the way he moved around.
Yeah. Oh. Do you ever play Mortal Kombat 2? That's another one, another cracker that is.
I haven't, but I've got a copy of that on the Master System. Not sure why. I think I must have picked it up years and years ago and just never sort of got around to playing it.
Older that. That's goes quite a bit now on the Master System, I think.
It does. I've only got the loose copy though. But which is probably why I never played it, because there's no instructions with it, so I don't have any idea what I was doing.
Well, I downloaded I printed out all of them Mega Drive Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2 movesets.
Oh yeah.
So I got them somewhere in one of my drawers.
Because you can do that nowadays. Of course, 20 years ago, if you lost the instructions, or 30, or no, 20 years, I forgot you were in there. 25 years ago, if you lost the instructions, you'd have no chance, would you, really?
Oh, exactly. That's why, I love looking at manuals now.
Yeah. Well, this is it, isn't it? This is the whole part of making sure that when you buy a game, everything's in there.
Exactly. Because, well, that's how I found out in Golden Axe that the character's name was Tarek. Because all the years I played that, I didn't have a clue on the Master System his name was Tarek. It was only because I was reading the manual and I found it out.
So, I mean, in terms of where it sort of sits on your favourite consoles ever, where would you put the Mega Drive?
Master System's number 1. Second or third?
Second or third?
Yeah, definitely second or third.
Yeah, I'd certainly. I think it'd be top 3 for me as well, probably. I don't know. It's just the look about it, and then again, my opinions on sort of the sort of modernised Mark II version of the Mega Drive are well known. It just looks absolutely horrible. The original one just looks completely out there, with that great big sort of disc thing with the cartridge goes into it, and the volume slider on it. It's just a fantastic piece of kit, really. It really is.
When I was a kid, I had the Mark II version.
Oh.
I didn't have the Mark 1, but now I got the Mark 1. I haven't got the Mark 2.
Oh yeah. I would only want the Mark 1. I have a Mark 2 as a backup, which I don't use, but I would only have one of those.
It's like I will get a Mark 2, not just for nostalgia reasons. It's like the same. I got a Master System Mark 1 and Mark 2. Now I never use a Mark 2.
Oh no.
It's It's like, what was it? Keep saying it. Looks like remember one of the old Hoovers used to have. Someone says, I can't remember who says it. I always laugh when they say it.
I always say it looks like a toaster. I don't know why I say it looks like a toaster, but when I first saw it, I thought, just pull that flap back at the top. I thought, well, just see, just. I suppose a bread bin probably is a better description for it than the toaster, but I just think it's a horrible thing. It really is
Terrible. Like I said, the only reason I got it, just for nostalgia reasons.
Yeah.
When my Mark 1 packed in back in the day, I ended up getting a Mark 2. And I've got I couldn't play any of the card games on it.
Well, that's it. There's the thing with these pared down version, they sort of strip bits out of it, and to me, I mean, the Mark 1 Master System isn't, aesthetically pleasing to look at. It is a bit of a strange sort of looking console, but I'd much rather have that one than the Mark 2.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But the thing is, you have to pay a bit more for the Mark 1. That's it. Mark 2's, I think, because when it was getting to the end of its life, they sort of made those and shored a great load of them out because they are quite easy to get hold of. But they are not as impressive. However, before we move on to your next console, I will say this about the, I think it's the Master Converter for the Mega Drive Master System 2. I think Mega Drive 2.
That, isn't it?
Yeah. I can get what I'm talking about here. Yeah, because I've got the power base converter for the original Mega Drive.
Yeah.
Which is, anybody's not listening, is a great big sort of hunking piece of plastic, which is shoved in the top of your Mega Drive. Which your Sega history, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They love putting add-ons to this, which enables you to play Master System games on the Mega Drive. Well, the Mark II version also had a similar thing that came out for it, and that at the moment will probably set you back about £100.
That one does mine, doesn't it?
It does.
Smaller.
Yeah, I saw a boxed one in my local CEX probably last year. I think then it was £80, and I just saw one on eBay go the other night for £95. It's actually cheaper to buy a Master System second hand at the moment, with probably some games as well, than just buying that bit of kit that goes on the top of it. But that was it, to extend the life of the console, or say now you can play all these old games from before backwards compatibility was a thing. You've got to buy a giant great big hulking piece of plastic and bolt on the top of it.
Yeah. It was mad when we was kids. I don't know if it was the same with Russ, but what we used to do, like I said, as soon as I went on the Mega Drive, my Master System just got given to my cousins.
That's
it was always sort of like hand-me-down stuff.
Oh right, yeah.
So we always, whatever I finished with, got handed down to my cousin.
And
I what a knob he was. I used to break everything. Why I didn't just keep my Master System, I never know.
Yeah.
Why it had to get given away so I could have a Mega Drive, like?
Well, because they presume like it happens nowadays, doesn't it? When you go to a car boot or something like that, occasionally pop to a charity shop and they've got something in there, and it's all because they've now got the PlayStation 4, so they don't need the PlayStation 3. So we'll just dump that off on here. I'll just clear this out. He's got a Nintendo. What's it now? Give me £10 for all these boxed N64 games, and they'll call it quits. That's what happens. Well, it used to happen. It doesn't happen so much nowadays.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wish it still happened.
Yeah, that's it. No, it never happened with me because we never had anything growing up. So as apart from the 2600, which I think got sold to somebody, the Amiga, which I think when we had that ended up down the tip at the end of its life. That pains me. And the Mega Drive that I had was mine anyway, and I traded that in at a later date. So because we didn't know anybody else, all my mates had games consoles and things like that, so there was no one else to move them on, and my cousins were girls, so they weren't really interested in that sort of thing. My sister certainly got no interest in games whatsoever. So no, it was either here to the end of its life and then got sort of chucked out because it was no use, or I kept it and sort of moved it on afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I kept all my stuff from back in the day.
Well, I think we all do, mate. I think we all do. That Mega Drive was getting me. That was criminal. And it was original Mark 1 in the box and everything, with loads of box games, and I got £50 for it. I think I paid 50 quid for it as well. So I've sort of broke, in true Retro Bear fashion, I broke even, all those years later.
I was expecting to say 10 pence or something again.
No. Not my pile of 10 pence is over, mate. We'll have trouble with that all. So after the Mega Drive, you then moved on. Am I right in saying that you went for the Mega Drive to your next console? Was that right? Or was there a gap in between?
Everybody broke up a bit then.
Yeah, so so from the Mega Drive, you then moved on to your next console.
Oh yes, yeah. From there, I advanced then to the PS1.
PS1. What was that when it first came out, or did you?
Yeah, up on the PS1. I think I got that in about 97. Yeah,
So,
it was 97 I got it.
So you're quite late getting it then, because it did come out about 12, 15 months before that, probably.
Yeah. And I know it was 97 because I wasn't 18, and I remember going and buying Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah.
And I remember one of my mates was there, and because he was in Walwas, and there was a woman here who knew me. So I thought, right, I don't want to take a chance now, not being able to get it. So I had my mate get it for me. I gave him the money, and he got it.
I had that when it first came out. I'd heard a lot about it. I think I played it a huge amount because I couldn't quite get on with it. I think I was just more interested in running people over.
Well, that's how I started, just doing that. But I absolutely loved GTA, and like I said, it come with a demo as well, and it had Rage Racer on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I remember playing that. I think I played one lap, I think, on it. Or one course. I think I just played it over and over and over until I went and actually got the game. And yeah, that's probably my favourite racing game of all time. I think Rage Racer. I absolutely love it.
I mean, it's a great console with a massive library of games, and it sort of took pull gaming into that next generation. I know it sort of ends up in the same sort of bracket with the N64 and the Saturn, in the fact that obviously some of these games haven't sort of aged particularly well.
Yeah.
But at the time, I mean, it was, here was Sony coming into a market they'd had no previous real knowledge and experience of, with a brand new console, and basically sort of blew Sega off the wall, and sort of really gave Nintendo something to think about.
Yeah, well, it was meant to be joining with Nintendo, weren't they?
That's right. They were meant to be working together on something, and then I can't remember which one went which way, but the other one said, "No, actually, we'll do it our way instead." And I think it might be Sony walked away from it. I can't remember. Someone will know who's more experienced with these sort of historical timelines than you and I are. But yes, it was that was the idea. It was going to be a combination of that, and I suppose really it'd be interesting to know what would have happened had they gone ahead with that. Would they still be successful working together and doing things, or would there have been a split at some point in the future? Would we have got the PlayStation 1 if they'd gone off and done their own thing and been slightly different?
Do you reckon we would have had GTA? Could you imagine having on a Nintendo console back in the day?
Probably not. But then again, Resident Evil was on a Nintendo console. Up until that point, I mean, obviously, if you go back to we touched on the Mortal Kombat version that came out on the Super Nintendo, because Nintendo really was sort of didn't want to be associated with all the blood and guts of the arcade game. So when we sort of fast forward 4 or 5 years, and we've got Resident Evil, a survival horror game coming out on the N64.
Yeah.
It's a strange world. But I mean, I had a PlayStation again. I think I probably would have bought mine the same year you did, and because a friend of mine had his, and at that year, that was the year I first started working. So obviously, for the first time in my entire life, I had disposable income, which was great. And I think within 6 months of starting work, I'd been out and bought a new stereo, a new television, and a PlayStation 1. Those were the days.
God.
Those were the days.
The high life.
That was it, yeah. But I mean, I absolutely love the console. And again, I know we got this sort of pared down version, haven't we? This little like paracetamol shaped PS1 as they called it,
Yeah.
which came out afterwards. But you can't beat the original one. Again, for its sheer sort of iconic look. I mean, it is. You know, we've talked about sort of retro things and iconic items from certain decades, but this is sort of the iconic console of the 90s, isn't it?
On it as well. It was mad.
Oh.
No, to actually put music CDs on it.
Yeah. Sorry, we lost you there. We're having a couple of problems at the moment, Steve. Sometimes we're getting what you're saying, and sometimes we're getting little bits of what you are. So hopefully everything's all right. What would you say in response to that? Could you just repeat that again?
I just saying, I remember him putting music CDs on it.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Somebody corrected me, but I'm sure you could do VCDs or SVCDs at the time as well if you had like an adapter to it.
All right.
I could be wrong. I'm sure I mentioned it. Somebody pointed it out to me that you could do something like that. But yeah, having music CDs was just something different, wasn't it? You know, it was. And some games you could actually use your music CD as a soundtrack to the game instead, couldn't you? I can't remember what game it was.
Not on a PS2, I think.
Might be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, what games did you spend, apart from GTA, spend a lot of time on the PlayStation 1 with?
Like I said, I absolutely loved that game.
Mm.
Die Hard trilogy.
Oh yes, yeah.
The second and the third one most. The second one, like the light gun sort of version, where I just used to play with a pad.
Oh, you played it with you went hardcore like I did and played it with the pad then?
Yeah, I never had a light gun back in the day. On a PS1 anyway. But that and Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I didn't like that one.
See, I was gonna say a lot of people don't like it. I don't know why. There's something about it.
Mm.
I don't know whether I was picturing like Crazy Taxi when I was playing it, but it was just driving around trying to get the bombs in the time and that. Just something about it I just really liked.
I don't know. It just felt a bit, I don't know, clumsy, and sometimes it was a bit unfair in terms of the time limit. I don't know. The first one I wasn't very keen. First bit I wasn't very keen on at all. It really, what sold me was sort of the second bit. Really, I thought that was brilliant. That was absolutely as it should have been.
Worth having that game now just for the second one, innit?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I completely agree. I mean, you probably could have sold that in a game itself.
Yeah, oh definitely. What's the second one like? The second trilogy.
I've never played it. I never played it at all. Can't imagine what it would be like, but yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never played it.
One on it as well, Alien trilogy.
Yeah,
I used to love back in the day.
First game I had for my PlayStation 1, that was.
Oh, that with me. Because I remember I got it from Rumbleos. My PS1.
Rumbleos, bloody hell, that's going back in it.
Yeah.
I think I got mine from Comet. So there's two retailers there which no longer exist.
God. Oh, I spent most of my time in Rumbleos on Saturdays back in the day, looking at games and stuff like that. But, I'll tell you another game. I don't know whether you played it. Heart of Darkness.
No, I've always believed I've had a copy of Heart of Darkness at some point, and I actually then get that confused with Alone in the Dark, the New Nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why I do, because they're completely different games.
Yeah, definitely.
but I think I probably walked past so many copies of Heart of Darkness over the years. One of those games that I think, no, I've got that, and then I don't pick it up, and then I get home and then realise that I actually haven't got it.
I haven't played it for a while, and I obviously got a lot of nostalgia attached to it. But yeah, it was brilliant back in the day. Trying to save your dog. Yeah, he plays a character called Andy, and he's trying to save your dog. I think the dog's name's Whiskey, I think.
A silly name for a dog.
I know. I'm sure it's Whiskey. I might be wrong, but I'm sure it's Whiskey. Yeah, it's like so. Shadow monsters and all that come for you. Oh, it's great. It is fair play. Really, definitely, probably is worth playing today, I expect.
It's got a huge library of games as well, hasn't it? I mean, I'm sure it's over 2,000. PAL release, I'm sure it has. And again, of course, we'll allude to later, it was made backwards compatible. with further incarnations of the PlayStation, and you know that you know you sort of just prolong the life of that console, and yeah, I just absolutely love it. I thought, you know, even down to the game cases, I don't know, sometimes you know they are absolutely brittle as anything, but they were great. I really, unlike anything probably we've seen to that point.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Like, so there's just something about them. They like, I suppose, like, say, with Dreamcast cases, if you're into the Dreamcast, just something about them small little flimsy cases. And like I said, if you get one through the post now from eBay and it's in good condition, you feel like you've won the lottery.
Well, I mean that's it. They do. I must. I think I bought. I mean, I think it was a copy of Euro 2000 or something, and it was in good condition. And I think I can't remember. Maybe it might be one of my videos. And I just sort of dropped it picked it up on the table and sort of dropped it on the table. And I didn't realize until after the video finished that I'd actually end up cracking the back of it just by dropping it from, you know, maybe the height of a couple of inches.
What it remind me of, like the bike and hang on, and like the car in pole position, one little touch on the side and it explodes.
Yeah,
that's what they remind me of.
Yeah, I can completely agree with that. I spent probably about an hour on last weekend, sort of going through some of the stuff I've been sent through and just trying to pull decent cases of and try and make decent cases out of and keep some spares. I've actually got some spares now, which is quite good, but most of the spares tend to be sort of the disc tray.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty non-salvageable. Got a couple of backs which are in good condition, but it's yeah, as you said, if you can find any in good condition, snap them up. And again, it's like we'd say with GameCube games. If you see a PlayStation 1 game for £1, grab hold of it, because they are becoming more and more common, and the price, you know, on some of these is beginning to go up again now.
On eBay now, the prices of PlayStation 1 games going up again.
Yeah, this is it, and I think it goes through little phase, because I remember when I was doing car boots 10 years ago, people had, you know, piles of PlayStation 1s. They couldn't give them away. Every table had a PlayStation 1 on it, and you just see them everywhere you used to go. And now, you know, people actually want to sort of pick them up. So I wonder what happened to all those PS1s from back then, where they sort of got simply junked because nobody wanted to buy them. Hello?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, wait, got complete silence there.
Technical difficulties.
Again. Yes, I mean, it's a great little console. It really is.
I love it. I don't know whether it's because of Rob Gurnaldino's, the challenges. First time in 10 years, but I really got back into the PS1.
Yeah. I mean, that's helped as well. I mean, he's highlighted a couple of games now. I think we did Porsche Challenge. I mean, that's a game I'd had on the shelf for years, and I never played it. And then he did the video, and I thought, I'll give it a go. And yeah, it was a great little game. So popularity of that console seems to be on the up at the moment.
That Porsche Challenge, Deinster sent it me. Fair play to him. So I have got a video ready to go for Rob's challenge on her.
Oh, brilliant. I look forward to seeing that, because I really enjoy playing that game. Really good fun.